I wasn't at the Lights On program.
I'll be out in the boxing with probably getting hot probably with my boys. I don't know.
I'll be in the street jeopardizing my life.
Being hit instead of being out there, somebody drop out, you get hit. Somebody else just standing there like, it's crazy out there.
Programs like this keep me alive.
I wanted to create a space where that wouldn't be an issue. So we have music, we have video games, we have basketball, we have badminton, we have countless board games, a whole bunch of stuff for the kids to do, but mainly just be safe and have a nice hot meal for them to during these hot summer nights.
Absolutely amazing. We are joined by our friend Akbar Cook, principal, Westside High School in beautiful Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. How you doing?
How you doing, Steve?
We just found out that we were at the same high school.
Yes, sir.
Essex Catholic.
Yes, same time.
We were there
sir.
at the same time?
You know.
Stop joking. See, why you got to be like that?
Hey.
By the way, I also want to make it clear that you succeeded in an extraordinary guy who was a mentor of mine, Mr. Potts,
Yes.
who Nathaniel Potts.
Yes.
His son, Don, was a close friend of mine in high school. And so when I was looking at what you were doing, I thought, what a legacy, what an impact. And you grew up in the West Ward.
Yes, sir.
You ever been recognized for this Lights On program? Ellen made a big deal about you on the show, right? She was focusing on 1 million acts of goods. $50,000 check from the show, right?
Yes, the first time.
Okay. You got national attention. Because what are you doing?
Yes, sir. So the big thing was the laundromat was the first thing.
Describe that.
So we were having kids staying home. My attendance was very low. And after we started knocking on doors and doing some unpacking, we found out the kids were staying home because they didn't have clean clothes. So what better way for me to remove that barrier than to put a laundromat in the school? I didn't know it was going to be so much politics in getting it done, but once it finally got done, we've been doing so many loads of clothes now, and my attendance has went up 10%. So we've removed that barrier, and now we're moving in the right direction.
Principal Cook, why do you do this?
It's in my DNA. My grandmother was always a caregiver and foster parent to the most disadvantaged youth, and then I had other educators in my family, so it's just in my DNA. This is what I was put on this earth to do, and I'm glad I'm able to do it in my hometown, Newark, New Jersey.
And it's the I want to understand more. So this is from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yes.
You provide a place, a space for these young people to be. What would happen otherwise to them, for them?
So let me take it back some, Steve. When I first got the job and I went to Westside High School, we opened up with the death of a female.
I remember.
And I didn't know this was happening in schools. And I say I lost another student that year. And I remember that summer, I just was watching RLS Media like it was a police scanner. And everything that was happening in West Ward, either my kids were doing it or was happening to my kids.
By the way, time out. We our Stand and Deliver leadership program that we have that Westside participates in, leadership development, we lost one of your students who were some of the students who were killed in that playground.
Yes. Wow.
At knife point. I mean, violence, death. Pick it up from there.
So when we opened up the new school year, we sort of right the ship, and I thought everything was fine. And then we end up having this one kid. He was borderline on the fence of the streets and trying to graduate. He wanted his mother to see him cross the stage. And I want to say about 2 weeks before graduation, he got killed in a drive-by shooting. So I knew I couldn't go another summer not doing anything. I'm a West Ward kid. We used to have a West Ward Boys and Girls Club on Littleton Ave. We have nothing like that.
We had the North Ward.
We still
they don't
have
have
that either. The Broadway's gone either.
They're gone.
Yes, and the one on.
People don't appreciate what the boys should be Boys and Girls Club. It wasn't at the time. It was a place. That place doesn't exist anymore. So you picked up the slack.
Yes. So I opened up my school from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. One, I just wanted to feed them because they weren't eating. I found out through other sources that the babies weren't eating over the weekend. So I wanted to do recreation. I wanted to do all these things that would just keep them safe and just let them be kids for that time, because the cops were saying, Cook, this is where crime is most prevalent. So I was like, okay, let's figure it out. First night, I want to say I had 30 people. I had 40-year-old parents, 25-year-old gangbangers, and 8-year-olds. It was like, what do you do? So we end up just kept trudging along and just, rolling balls out and just doing everything. And then I want to say Barry Carter. We all know Barry Carter, writes for NJ.com. And
He's for Star Legend?
Yeah, Star Legend, NJ Advance,
iconic writer.
Yes.
He's the best.
So he did a spread on the Lights On program.
I remember.
And when it came out, we went viral. I started averaging about 150 kids a night. Yes. And I want to say the last night, Steve, we had 278. It was my most thus far. And I had a big old celebration. Ice cream truck come out. One of my baby girls came out, gave me a high five, got some ice cream, ate it. She was later killed that night on 12th Street by a stray bullet.
That night?
That same night. So it drove home the point that I didn't have enough stuff for the ladies. So I went back to my alumni association and said, look, can we do something during the school year on Fridays? Not just wait till the summer to save these kids. Let's do something during the school year. So we started opening up lights on Fridays, every Friday night during the school year, but now it's a more emphasis on the ladies. The henna tattoos, the makeup, and now I started averaging 350 participants with more emphasis on the ladies. And the ladies were coming out, and I haven't lost any more kids to gun violence since we did that, and that was 3 summers ago. So it's been 4, this will be my 5th summer coming up, and we've been just trudging along, averaging about 250 every night, including the last Friday night, sir.
You've just picked us up. This is part of our Making a Difference series. If you're listening on audio right now on the podcast, this is Akbar Cook, principal at Westside High. How long have you been the principal?
I've been the principal since August. I was a vice principal 4 years prior to that.
So here's the thing I'm curious about. The young people we're talking about, that the vast majority of people watching us right now may care about, but they can't relate to directly. Explain to folks what they want and what they need from all of us.
My school is 100% free and reduced lunch. That means most of my population comes from poverty. I look at it as sense
Meaning
of,
the federal government has deemed them to be appropriate candidates to receive it, which means it's a poverty issue that's big.
Yes, sir. My whole building. I have a lot of immigrants coming from Africa at this time as well. So I have this mixture of kids who are parentified. I didn't know that word until I got to West Side. They are taking care of their siblings because either their parents are working on these odd jobs or the parents are not even there at all. So my kids have to take their siblings to school, walking across town, then get to me by 10 o'clock on most days they need. So we have to look at the child holistically now. Like, it's building them up. It's like this ground roots level, and that's what we've been doing, just trying to love on them and just be that person for them, because in most cases their parents are not there. So that's what my baby looks like. Basics, that's it.
You know, and when you're, we'll show some pictures of this. What happened with Ellen? Help us understand that. Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, she doesn't have a show as big as this, but we know who she is. Yes.
So when the news got out about the laundromat,
right,
I had took a little video. I was happy to see myself on TV, Steve. I'm not you. I'm not used to being on here, right?
Well, Ellen didn't ask me. She asked you.
I'm just saying. So I took that little video and I put it on Instagram.
No.
And it made it all the way to Burbank, California.
Stop.
People saw it and they invited me out. The first time, I was out there twice, Steve.
What was it like?
It was the scariest thing I ever did in my life.
Why?
Because you can't mess up. There's 50 million people watching, you know?
What, at PBS you can mess up?
No, I'm not. I'm a pro now.
Now you're a pro. So when you were there with her, and she was talking about you in front of that audience and all that love.
I was going to cry, Steve. This brother from Brick City was about to cry. If you look at me holding that money, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? It was just amazing, man. I was like, my grandmother's still alive. She's 90, and I'm like, my grandma's watching me right now. So that's what made it drove home more, the point even more, that grandma's watching.
You know, it's one thing, the recognition you're getting for your work, but I also know that you know it's not about you, it's not who you are. What message do you have for other principals and other leaders who interact with young people, particularly in our inner cities right now?
This is the new normal for education, urban education. These kids need us more than ever. Child protective services tend to care more about the elementary babies and the middle school kids, but they forget about the high school kids, and those are my babies. So please don't forget them. They need us more than ever. They're really going through this social media kick.
Is there bullying going on there too?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely, and it's through social media, so it's the gift and the curse. I mean, it's
cyberbullying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
How do you manage that? I hate to open up this Pandora's box. How are you dealing with that as well?
Well, we removed one of the barriers. He was bullying because the kids weren't clean, so I removed that barrier. And then you got to come hard on the offenders. You got to really come hard and say this is a no nonsense, like zero tolerance. Absolutely. Right. So we've been not only worrying about the negative behavior, but building up the kid. We want them to have that pride to go to the board and be that kid that we thought they could be. So just trying to attack it that way and doing other things with the phones.
You know, finally, your grandma is proud of you, but I want to also say. We're taping in Brick City in Newark at NJTV. Wow. You are of the city.
Yes, sir.
We share the same high school in the city, except neither one of our high schools don't even exist anymore,
no more,
right?
No more.
But you're doing good work every day, and you're making a lot of people proud. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. I
Can't imagine what it would be
it.
like if you weren't making a difference every day.
That's all I know, sir. If not us, then who?
Thank you very
Steve.
much. All the best.
Same.
All right. I'm Steve Adubato. That's Akbar. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, TD Bank, RWJ Barnabas Health, PSC&G, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by Caldwell University. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.